Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello, my name's David Seaman, and this is the Three Lions Podcast.
And welcome to the Three Lions Podcast. My name is Russell Osborne, and this is your independent England football supporters podcast. As always, I hope I find you well. Thank you, as always, for the feedback you've given me on the recent episodes. Always appreciated. And as always, if you haven't heard them, go check them out. They are available at your podcast provider of choice. Now, the World Cup, it is, of course, almost upon us. Most of the dates in the timeline of this 23rd World Cup have been passed, be it the original announcement date of who would host, the qualifying groups, the games, the year to go marker, the main draw. Now we are one milestone month away from kickoff of that first game between Mexico and South Africa on the 11th of June. So I thought this would be the ideal opportunity to take a look at it all with the help of two good friends of the show, Charlie Tidswell from the Gate 102 podcast and Gary Lambert from Channel England Football on YouTube. Hiya, guys.
Hi,
Russell. You okay?
I am very well, very well. You both well?
Yeah, very good. Just excited for the World Cup, mate.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. How are we feeling in general with a month to go?
I mean, we were just joking, weren't we, before we started this about, I've literally just released a video about how uninspired everyone seems to be about this World Cup. And no, if I'm going to put my cards on the table, of course I'm excited, but I've never known a World Cup with so much baggage attached to it.
Yeah,
and,
that's a good term.
Yeah, and I think one of the things for me is I always look forward to the opening game of a tournament because in the past it's always had that real jeopardy. I feel like, we all know the importance of starting with a win and historically how England usually don't do that. But because the World Cup's expanded in the way it has and the way the groups are, you can almost lose two games and win one and you can still potentially get through. So I think I'll only start to get a buzz for it once the knockout rounds are there, because I think the group stages for me a little bit feel like another qualification round in some ways for me. But no, I am looking forward to it. It'll be a great World Cup once it kicks off.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of them. I remember 2 years ago for the Euros, I was so excited for the tournament. It was like within a few months, I was counting the days down, how long till the tournament. And a bit like Gary's saying, because there's so much baggage towards the tournament, it feels different for some reason. And it's taken me longer than I'd have liked to get excited and get that buzz about the tournament. But I feel like over time, like when I get the wall chart up on the wall, and
I was going to say the wall chart's a big thing, isn't it?
Wall chart,
definitely.
and if you can afford them, stickers.
Sticker albums, yeah. You just get that excitement up.
You start plotting the route, don't you? We all do when we get the wall chart up.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, I think you're right, Gary, in what you say, that the group stages are like, it almost feels like an extension of the qualifying group, because now we've got this extra round and what is it, 8 of the third place teams can go through. It's unheard of.
Yeah, and it's because it's so confusing from that aspect. I mean, it's not confusing in the sense that a lot of third best teams will go through, but no one's going to really have a clue who they are. Probably even after the final whistle in the fourth game, it's going to take some working out. And yeah, I mean, because of the expanded World Cup, you get it in some ways where you think it's a World Cup now, more countries are going to be there than whatever would be there. But I feel like it's quantity over quality, and you're going to end up with a lot of teams that really are good. They might be embarrassed, which you don't really want to see at a World Cup.
Which was almost the case with the Club World Cup last year, where was it Bayern Munich beat someone 10-0, 10-1, which I think was a little bit of a just brought the tournament down to earth, really. And I think actually they shouldn't be increasing it in its size.
There is some concerns though as well, isn't there, about when you're going on about the Club World Cup, because that was seen as almost like a tester, wasn't it, for the World Cup? And it's probably safe to say that looking back at that Club World Cup, it maybe not a disaster is a strong word, but it wasn't that great, was it?
It's also about like player welfare as well. You think about the amount of games some of these players have had to play because of that Club World Cup, and now they're going into a World Cup. There's so many games. I remember you, Russell, saying in your last episode that they were looking to expand the Club World Cup to 48 teams as well. And it's just, like I say, I think you're right, Gary. It was almost like a tester to see some of the new ideas, and I think we'll see a lot of that in this tournament from what we saw last summer in the Club World Cup. And it's one of them, some will stick and be good, some won't be. It happens every year, doesn't it? Every tournament, new things try out.
You mentioned player welfare, and obviously we had Chelsea and Manchester City. To look at it from an England perspective, to move on to that, Chelsea and Manchester City players were involved last summer, of which Chelsea and Manchester City players were involved in the Euros before that. And now we're like this summer, we've got the World Cup where those Chelsea and Manchester City players, there will be a few of them have had 3 summers on the bounce of playing tournaments.
Yeah, it's so much. And you look at people like Foden and Palmer. These were 2 players who were unbelievable in 2024. And ever since then, they've not really been the same players, but it's not that they've lost talent. I think it's tiredness and fatigue, not only physically, but mentally as well. And I think that's something to consider for this tournament, because players will be really tired, and that can be a challenge.
Yeah, it's going to see whether lessons will be learned by FIFA, or what they take from that Club World Cup to this World Cup, and then going forward. Remains to be seen. They're only going to work that out once the tournament's over. But come on, let's move on to England, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're all fans of. Obviously, we've all got dreams of Harry Kane. He's like on everyone's shoulders, just as Bobby Moore was with a trophy in his hand. I don't want to ask you, is it going to happen yet? Let's leave that till the end. But what are your thoughts on England in general?
I think, obviously, if you think back to Qatar and the last World Cup, I'd say, obviously, I'm a big Southgate fan. I reckon that was the best tournament we played in terms of performance-wise. I thought we were absolutely outstanding all tournament, albeit we just fine margins lost to France. And hopefully we can improve on that. Obviously, 2 finals defeats in recent tournaments. You just think it's got to be time at some point. But I think it'd be interesting. Obviously, Tuchel, I still can't make up my mind about him. I think I've been impressed by what I've seen so far. Qualification went really well, but we've been here before with England where we've qualified really well. Think back to like Roy Hodgson, Capello as well. And we got to the tournament and then it all fell apart. And I think the biggest challenge for Tuchel won't necessarily be the step up in opposition, because I think he's tactically good enough to deal with that. But for me, it's the man management of taking a team to the other end of the world for hopefully a month or so and leading them. And obviously Southgate was a genius at that. He was amazing. And it's whether Tuchel can deal with that, because he's never done that before at international level.
Yeah. Gary.
I think that's the biggest test for me, to see how he does. But overall, I think we've got a great chance. Players wise, obviously really good players. Some players maybe not in the form we'd like them to be in, but maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, because I think back to Jude Bellingham in last Euros, who's had the season of his life. I think he looked really tired in the tournament. Whereas think about Jude Bellingham this season, he's maybe not had the best season, but he's had a few injuries. But that might actually benefit him. I mean, he's more fresh and ready when the summer comes about.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there, Charlie, about, and probably something that a lot of people, miss really or forget about in terms of, it's not all about the tactics at these international tournaments. It's sometimes about how you can make a group of 20 odd players live together for a month and, build that harmony within the camp. And like you said, that's what Gareth Southgate was a genius at. And I agree. I mean, going back to the last World Cup, I thought we were absolutely brilliant. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think we were a better team than France that night. And, but what happened? But I look at this England team now and I'm torn. And as we all know, I'm getting a bit long in the tooth where I feel like it's coming home every single tournament, even though I probably will think that on the opening day. But at the same time, you look at that squad of players and you think, how can we not do well? How can we not be optimistic? I don't think it's English arrogance or anything to absolutely not want or maybe even expect England to get to a semi-final or a final. But on the other flip side of that, I look at how many players, and I really need to exaggerate, how many England players who you would have had probably in your starting 11 have just been completely out of form this season or injured. And then on top of that, when you really start to crunch the data in terms of looking at how England have performed, and I go back to the last Euros where, I mean, everyone other than Spain stunk the place out, but we weren't great. I know we got to the final, and I'm not knocking the lads for getting there, but we were lucky to get to the final. We were almost going out on numerous occasions, and we didn't play well. And I really struggle. I think I had this conversation. I really struggle to think, when was the last time I really saw England play to a really high standard? And my mind casts back to Italy at home I think it was the Nations League. And Harry Kane scored a great goal. Rashford on the score sheet that night. I think we won 3-1. But that's a couple of years ago. And I know there's been good performances. There's been a good performance away in Greece. There's been a good performance away in Serbia. And then you obviously can argue we haven't played a huge amount since, but other teams have come to Wembley in that space and beat us. And I just feel like I just don't know where this team's at. And I am concerned about, when I look back on England's performances over the past couple of years, quite frankly, if I'm being completely honest, head not heart, I'm fearful that I can't see us doing that well this tournament. But I hope, obviously, I'm wrong.
I mean, my concern, I think, is the depth, the squad depth. Because you look at the team and you can pick a spine out. You see Pickford, you can see Rice, you can almost see Bellingham. But even now, I'm not 100% convinced he's going to be in there. Obviously, he'll play his part. And then Kane. Then I think, well, if Kane gets a knock, where do we go?
Well, and I think, without Kane, I think we'll all agree, won't we? Without Kane, it's done. We ain't winning the tournament without Kane. I think, and this what makes me feel like, I mean, I don't know if you'll all remember back in the day when you had, before Gareth Southgate, quite frankly, how many times were we panicking about one player getting injured? And, you go back to Rooney's metatarsal and all these sorts of things. And you seem like you had 10, 20 years where it was all just pinning on one player. And then under Gareth Southgate, it felt like we'd actually built a team, a world class, and it wasn't really about, even though we had a load of really good individuals, it was never really about one individual in particular and there was so many options in different areas. But I look at this squad now and it's mainly because everybody else behind Kane in the Premier League or wherever they play in have really struggled for form. You look at Kane now and you think, if we lose him, it's done. It is, from my perspective, we ain't winning the tournament without Harry Kane.
And then it seems the reluctance from Tuchel to, dare I say, pick Danny Welbeck. He's the English top goal scorer, and he's reluctant to pick him.
I mean, in the last international break, we actually played a game without a striker, didn't he? He didn't start a striker.
Kane missed both games, didn't he? Japan and Europe.
And I think he opted to not play a single striker, and it just didn't work.
No, for me, like, you take 3 strikers or 2, or at least 2. But I know there's talk about these false nines or playing Rashford as like a number 9 or Gordon running in behind the defence. But for me, say if that's the case, say if Kane gets injured, you put Rashford up front. Well, who are you putting on left wing? And then it's one of them. Players have to move around to solve problems, and for me, it would just be better if you just have consistent strikers. So obviously Kane's the starter. For me, Ollie Watkins has been really good recently. I'd like to see him back in, but even Welbeck as well. Maybe take 2 or 3. But for me, you've got to take at least more than one striker.
Yeah. Well, what are we at this moment in time? We are probably 3 weeks away from Tuchel announcing his what is it? It's a 26-man squad, isn't it? Now, yeah. So that will be announced before the New Zealand and Costa Rica games to be played in the States. So yeah, we've still got time to see what happens there. But taking a look at the World Cup as a whole, not necessarily going through all the groups, but what do we look at? The favourites, or maybe some of the dark horses, or the surprises? Well, let's go dark horses and surprises.
Go on, Charlie.
I think Japan, personally.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not saying this just because they beat us, obviously in March at Wembley, but I've just got a feeling that I think Japan might do well. I'm not saying they'll win it, but I could see them getting to at least the semi-finals. And I just thought the togetherness in the team when they played us at Wembley, like the cohesion in the group and the fans, it looked really strong. And that can what gets you through tournaments at times, when you've got a strong connection and a good team spirit, which I think Japan have. Obviously, I'm not in the dressing room, so don't quote me on that. But it just felt like they could do well. They were playing together, and yeah, I don't know. And they've done well recently. I think they beat us. They beat Brazil as well, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Japan. But obviously, you've got your obvious favourites. Teams like France, Argentina, Spain as well. So I think it'd be interesting.
Just looking at Japan, they're in Group F. And you know, I've gone down here. I bought up a graphic that's still got the to be confirmed teams.
So it's Japan, Netherlands, Sweden, and Tunisia.
Oh, is it Sweden in there? So Sweden's are missing there. I mean, yeah, I can see Japan getting through. Wow. I'd agree Japan will get through. Whether how far they can go, I'm not entirely sure. But you mentioned Sweden, and I've got Sweden down as, again, not a team to win it, but the fact they went through in the manner that they did, finishing bottom of their group, only going through via the Nations League sort of pathway, something like that. And you think, well, actually, they've gone through with they're going into it with no pressure. And I wonder if that might help the likes of Sweden. I don't know. That's just one of my teams. Go on, Gary.
I think Sweden are going to get absolutely battered, by the way.
Fair enough.
my dark, I don't know if you'd class them as a dark horse, really, but Senegal would be one I think you've got to watch out for. I just think they're a really strong squad. I think they've sort of been one of those African nations now that have been pushing on that World Cup door a while, and I just feel like, I mean, the thing is, though, they're in a very tough group, incredibly tough group, alongside France, Iraq, and Norway. So you know, a lot of people are saying that's possibly the group of death, but it's. I just fancy them. I just like the football they play. I think they're very athletic, very quick, great attacking options. I just feel like they're going to cause some upsets.
Yeah, I mean, Senegal, did they win or did they lose the AFCON? What one was that?
And if you're traditional, they won it. But
that was it.
Because they won it on the pitch, but then lost it, yeah.
That's right. I watched that, and yeah, they were decent. Yeah, they've always had a fairly decent side, Senegal. Other than Sweden, I've got two others, and again, they're not going to win it. South Korea, I think, could be a decent shout to get through. They're in the same group as Mexico, South Africa, and again, my graphic's wrong, but whoever won the European place there.
Hang on a minute. Which group is it, Russell?
Group A.
Group A, oh, right. So it's Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Well, I can see them getting out of that group. They have gone I think I read that they're unbeaten in 16 qualifying games. I think they could do well. Here's a bit of a curveball, and I'm throwing this in not for footballing reasons, and I always say about the political side of things, but Iran, I think they can go into their games with almost something based on obviously what's going on, going in and saying, look, we're here to prove a point in a sporting capacity on the football pitch. And I think they might get some support from the stands, which might just push them on. They're in the same group as Belgium, Egypt, and New Zealand, which any team, has got a chance of getting out of that group. But I just got a funny feeling. I think Iran, if they can get out of that, they might get a lucky draw in the round of 32, and all of a sudden they find themselves in the round of 16. That's another one of mine. But you say about Senegal, and it was Morocco, obviously, that they beat lost to whatever it was in AFCON. And I think it was Pele back in 1977. He said that an African side would win the World Cup before the year 2000. I don't know why he chose the year 2000 because there was no World Cup that year. But I think Morocco, they obviously semi-finalists last time. AFCON finalists, winners, whatever you want. They're under 20 World Cup winners. I think they've got a good pedigree there that they could go far. Again, not going to win it, I don't think. But
yeah, I mean, they're in the same group as Scotland, won't they? Aren't they? So it'd be interesting. Well, it'd be great to see him put 3 past Scotland in the group stage.
Well, that's Group C: Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, Scotland. Yeah.
I think Morocco and Senegal are. I think a lot of people I could consider seeing them being people's dark horses. The African, I think we all struggle, don't we? Like with these Asian countries and African countries, we see them with these great qualification records, and they do well in their home Nations League or version of European Cups and whatever. But you never truly know how strong they are because it's really difficult to judge them against traditional powerhouses, particularly in Africa and Asia, where you haven't really got those. You haven't got a strong team like you would have in Europe or a strong team like you would in South America. So it's sometimes difficult to judge how good these teams actually are, really. But look, they can give anyone a game. I mean, Senegal absolutely battered us, didn't they, at the City ground?
Yeah.
It's fun. There's always some surprises in there, aren't there? I mean, it's often hard to know what teams it's hard to predict the surprise team because even like Wales, I know it's obviously the Euros, not the World Cup, but Wales getting semi-final in 2016, no one saw that coming. And Morocco getting to the semi-final last World Cup again, no one saw it coming. So it'll be interesting to see who the surprise team could be, but it'll definitely be one, maybe even two.
And with the surprise teams comes the almost surprise players. There's players that we'll want to see. Are there any players that sort of stand out for you, Charlie, like that you're looking forward to seeing, or you think actually could be an impactful on the tournament? Because sometimes it's like they get a big money move off the back of a tournament.
Yeah, well, for me, Elliot Anderson, I think he's looked
exactly the same.
Yeah, he's looked amazing every time he's played for England. I know we're very quick as England fans to pin down players and say they're going to be the next England midfielder for the next 10 years, but I really do think Anderson's got so much potential, and also with him playing for Nottingham Forest, I know he's quite settled there, but with the quality of player he is, he might well be wanting to get a move off this tournament to a club slightly higher up. But he looks great in the fact that he's control the ball, defensive ability, the fact that he gets around the pitch. For me, he's got everything. I think he's the one I'm really excited to see. And you think back to the Under-21s tournament last summer, for me, he was our best player. Best player of the tournament for me. Yeah, he's the one I'm really excited to see for England. But also Harry Kane. I know it's basic and easy for me to say Harry Kane, but anyone who listens to my podcast knows how much I value Harry Kane. For me, unbelievable player, best player in the world right now. And yeah, I could see him just tearing this tournament apart personally. I think he's unbelievable. And I felt sorry for him last tournament at the Euros because I think he was slightly tired, possibly carrying injury, and we probably weren't playing to his strengths. So this tournament, I feel he's gonna really show what he can do, as he always does.
Gary, are you a Messi fanboy or a Ronaldo fanboy?
Neither, really.
No.
I mean, I'm trying to think because I mean, you went straight to an England player there, Charlie, and it's hard not to, isn't it? Because we're thinking,
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I'm going to just mention England for a moment, I'm looking forward to seeing, and hopefully he does get some game time. Is Eze in an England shirt, and I think he's playing well for Arsenal, and I think he's sort of coming to his own as the season's come on, and he scored some cracking goals, and I think maybe he's a bit of a underrated gem for England, really, that I don't think we've had a proper look at in an England shirt, quite frankly. So I'd like to see what he can do. I think broader, I'll be honest with you, I think outside of Mbappe and stuff like that, but I do hope Lamine Yamal's fit, because I just think he's brilliant to watch, particularly when you consider his age. I mean, from an England perspective, I won't be too bothered if he's injured for the for the World Cup, to be honest with you. But I just think he's such an exciting player to watch. I really do. And yeah, he's just. I think the one thing I'm hoping for is that in some ways teams actually find a way to defend again. I feel like the art of defending has gone out of the game, and sometimes, yeah, it'd be nice to see some solid defensive performances. I know that sounds the most boring answer, but it's just like a bit traditional old school football, really, where you grind results out. But I think at the minute where teams are quite evenly matched, it's more likely to end up 5-5 than a 1-0 victory either way. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'd be nice to see, some solid defences, because I don't think there are many out there. And when I think of England's defence and I worry about our back four, when I think across the world, actually, I think pretty much everyone's in the same boat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, those sort of days of Italian defending seem to be long gone. But yeah, I appreciate a good bit of defending, like Baresi, or Albertini, whoever it was.
Yeah, some really chucking your body in the way and those sorts of performances. And I think, to be honest with you, Charlie, going back to your point about an underdog, I think that's where we're probably going to see those sorts of clinging on to a 1-0 and stuff like that. And I just find those games absolutely brilliant and exciting, because they're just, you never know what's going to happen. So I'd love to see something like that from a team.
Yeah. You mentioned Lamine Yamal of Spain. I mean, he's a few players that are out of the World Cup, and it is a bit of a shame when you see some of the best players not being able to play on the biggest stage, because that's obviously what they want to do. I think there's Ekitike at France, Esteval Brazil, Serge Gnabry at Germany. Kudos of Ghana, Xavi Simons from the Netherlands, both of Tottenham. And there's also talk of Luka Modric, obviously for Croatia. He suffered I think it was a cheekbone injury. So, I mean, they seem to have ways of getting around facial injuries now. He'll probably appear with some sort of mask on. You would like to see the best players there. And as like Gary said, as long as they're not playing us.
Yeah.
But one of the talking points around the tournament, or it happens every time, new rules have come in for this one. Let me just throw some of these at you. The throw-ins and goal kicks must be taken within 5 seconds. Substituted players have got to leave the field within 10 seconds. There's now they're talking that you can't cover your mouth as well, which I think is a good one. Go on, Gary. What do you reckon to those? The good rules?
I think they are, but it's only if they're enforced consistently. And we all know sometimes football referees, we all know now, everyone will be like, oh, it's 11 seconds. Why ain't he got a card? And someone's got one, 10 minutes ago for it. And it's just, I think it needs to be addressed, because we were going back onto earlier about, Charlie, your point about football players being tired and stuff. And I agree. But then when you read stats like what you've seen in some games where the ball's only on the pitch for like 40 minutes, and you start to think, yeah, something's got to give here, and we all know, even though we don't mind it when our team's doing it, but when substitutions are being made in the last 30 seconds of a game to kill the game off, and so you just think this isn't right. So hopefully there'll be good rules, but I think a rule's only as good as the people who are enforcing it, really. So let's see how it works.
Yeah, it's one of them, and every tournament they try new things out, and some things stay. Like I seem to remember in the Qatar World Cup, do you remember like the added time was like incredibly high compared to
at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I feel like that's almost had to implement on football nowadays. Like I feel like added time's increased since that World Cup. Maybe not to the same extent, but it's one of them, and it's some rules are good, some rules are bad. But I think, like you say, Gary, it's got to be consistent. We can't have in one game, players having to change who's taking the throw in because they took too long. But in another game, you get away with it. It's got to be consistent, and I think that's the key. Whether it will be or not, who knows? But hopefully.
I've never understood though, because it seems like obviously they're wanting to eliminate those times where time's been wasted. Why not just say the clock goes dead when the ball goes dead?
Yeah.
I just don't, you know what I mean? Rather than worrying about, is it 10 seconds? Is it 11 seconds? Is it, you know what I mean? Just stop the clock.
It doesn't happen. Is that a rugby rule?
Yeah. And it works absolutely fine. So it's just, I don't know. It just seems like if that's your true aim, the solution's really, really simple in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, it was 2018 when VAR was first introduced to the World Cup, the Russian World Cup, and I have to say, I think it's something that we're gonna be talking about a lot come this tournament. It's just the nature of the game, I think. Now, last few minutes to round it up. Let's who's your favourite? So, where do we see the trophy really ending up?
Not too sure, but I think Spain have got a really good chance. Obviously, they won the European Championships 2 years ago. Got a really good squad, but yeah, I think there's so many things to consider for this tournament that I think will affect the outcome, because you've got to think about the heat as well.
Yeah.
Extra game time. So, for example, if you want to win the tournament now, you've got to play 5 knockout games. And it's likely in one of them 5 games, you might have to play extra time penalties as well.
True.
So the amount of football you're going to be playing is so much. So I think it does come down to depth. I think that's really important. And I think when players are tiring and when the heat's quite high, you do need that depth. And I think Spain have probably got that. So I'll go Spain. But yeah, it's so hard to tell. But regarding England, I'm not sure, but I think we just got to hope for the best. But I'm not expecting too much because of the climate, the travel, the fact that we've got a few injuries, some of the players aren't in the best form. So if anything, that might benefit us because the pressure's not so high on us. Because if you compare it to like last tournament where the pressure was really on us to win, I don't think it's as high this time. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Gary.
My favourite's Portugal. I just think they're such a good squad. I mean, the one thing that's going against them is the manager, to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of Martinez, but, I think people are... I've heard people talk about them as potential winners, but I feel like people have probably underestimated them a little bit. But, they've won current Nations League champions. They beat Spain in that final. I just think looking at their midfield is just unreal. I just really fancy Portugal, not in the sense that I want them to win it, not at all. But I just think they're going to be a real tough team to beat. And in relation to England, as Charlie said, I think I don't know. I'm always of the opinion it's not whether we win it or not, but it's how we go out. I think that would be the annoying thing for me. If we go out giving it our all, penalties or whatever, you feel like things happen. It's football. If we go out again absolutely, hammered by a team in the quarters or semis, then I might have a slightly different opinion to that, really. I just want England to be competitive, because I think if we should be competitive, and on our day we should give anyone a game.
Saying that if we are going to go out, we go out with our head held high.
Exactly. Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, from my point of view, I'm kind of leaning towards France. I mean, obviously Argentina are the holders, and you've got to give them some sort of consideration. But I kind of think maybe that was their time, and and you look at France, obviously finalists. Then, and you look at the team, it's like PSG, some of the French players in that. You got Griezmann as well. Some of these top players, the way they play, I'm leaning towards France. I'm interested. Actually, no one said Brazil, because they always seem to be, when a World Cup comes around, everyone sort of has these sort of yellow and green coloured eyes, thinking, oh, it's always Brazil. But bearing in mind, they haven't won it for 20 odd years. I don't think it's their time. But for us, for me, my point of view, I'm just concerned about that squad depth. But like you, Gary, as long as we go through, play our best, try our hardest, and if we go out with our head held high.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, we have a month to go. Let's hope that excitement can start to ramp up now, because we've still got. Well, we've got the end of the Premier League season. We've got the Champions League final. There's still plenty of football to be played, and I think once that's sort of finished, then the excitement will.
When do the war charts get in the papers at the weekend before?
I think you're probably right. I mean, you have to send off them now, some of them, don't you? That they'll charge you for them.
Oh, God.
But no, thank you very much for joining us on this episode, Gary, Charlie. Go on, quickly plug where we can find you.
You can find me on YouTube, Channel England Football. I've slightly changed my name, actually. It's CEF Gaz, England Football. I just cover all things England, but then as the World Cup's coming up, I'm covering a lot of World Cups content as well. So yeah, find me on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find me at Gate 102 Podcast. So just type in Gate 102 Podcast on whatever podcast player you listen to. It's basically me going through every game Gareth Southgate managed. Currently up to game 68. So yeah, gradually getting through them. But yeah, no, please do check it out, and you can find me on social media as well. And yeah, hopefully enjoy if you choose to listen.
Yeah, lads, both, thank you very much for your time. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoy the content you do. Yeah, go follow both Charlie and Gary. So yeah, we'll catch up again soon.
Cheers, Russell. Thank you very much. Come on, England.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.